Dr. Sechuraman is a brilliant scientist and a well-known watchmaker who has developed a special watch. He is filming himself to keep a record of his findings. His wife, Priya, is upset with him because he doesn't have time for her or their newborn son, Manikandan. They have come into his laboratory to wish him a happy birthday. Sechuraman lovingly chides Priya for bringing their son to his lab, which is full of chemicals. As Manikandan starts crying, Priya gives him to his dad and goes to get milk for him. Sechuraman has built a sophisticated machine that can hold the baby safe and even pacify him with a recording of his mother's voice. Once Manikandan is calm, the machine rocks him to sleep. Sechuraman goes back to working on the watch, which he has named Project 24. The watch is kept in a safe, which has a special key, without which it is impossible to open it. He takes out a high-tech looking dial and starts working on it. One of the steps involves adding a chemical to the process. Unbeknownst to him earlier, an eagle had flown into his laboratory, and its feather had dropped in the container carrying a red chemical which, after the reaction, because of a foreign object, had turned sparkling green. One drop of that charged liquid on the dial makes the experiment successful, and it starts drawing energy from all the equipment surrounding it. The device activates, and Sechuraman calls out to Priya to tell her the watch is working, but he gets no response. He looks outside and sees his watchman collapsed. Sensing danger, he runs to hide all his findings, along with the watch. His evil twin brother Athraya has come in pursuit of the time-traveling watch. He has the key, but because he is unable to find the box that contains the watch, he doesn't hesitate to eliminate Priya in front of Sechuraman. But fate seems to favor Sechuraman, as Athraya slows down because of a cylinder blast. Sechuraman takes the opportunity to get his baby in a protective cradle and runs through a secret passage that leads to the middle of the jungle. Sechuraman runs onto a bridge and jumps on a passing train. But Athraya and his men soon catch up. Athraya boards the train and eliminates Sechuraman when he can't find the box on him. Thinking it to be hidden in the protective cradle with Sechuraman's son, Athraya opens it to find it empty. Soon the voice in the machine starts a countdown. Athraya mistakes it to be a bomb and jumps off the train, presumably to his demise. Manikandan is safe with a passenger named Satyabhama. These events took place 26 years ago. It is 2016, and Manikandan, now Mani, has grown into a handsome young man. He is the spitting image of his dad. He still has the box Sechuraman had placed with him, but he is unaware of the content. He calls Satyabhama Mom. Satyabhama is tired of cooking for Mani and his friends and coaxes Mani to marry, so the daughter-in-law will share her responsibility. Sathya is a beautiful young girl who is leaving to pursue higher studies in a city. Her family has a very peculiar tradition, where every Friday, they don't talk until 6 in the evening, because once Sathya's grandfather scolded a kid in his family. That kid left the house, and this incident happened on Friday. The family regrets what happened, and to make up for the loss, they follow this convention every Friday. The eagle returns to set things into action and lets its feather fall, catching on fire as it touches the electric wires. The burning feather then enters a hospital store and causes a fire. Athraya lies in a coma in that hospital. The fall wasn't enough to put him to sleep. He wakes up after 26 years, only to see himself surrounded by fire. He held the key for all those years, but it drops from his hand when he wakes up. Mithran, Athraya's confidant, comes rushing in after hearing the news. There, he gets to know that the fall has left Athraya paraplegic. Athraya is significantly older now, but he refuses to accept it. He calls it unfair that he got old even without living his life, and wants his 26 years back. He asks Mithran where the watch is. Together, they visit Sechuraman's mansion, where they find the recordings explaining what the watch is capable of doing. Through a series of incredible events, the key to the box ends up with Mani. He is finally able to open the box using the key, but he sees the watch as nothing special, until he gets electrocuted from a faulty switch, which activates the watch in his hand. He places it on his wrist, and the watch attaches itself to his wrist. He resets the time to a few minutes ago, and gets electrocuted again. After a few more tries, he figures out that he can time travel with the watch. After finding such a treasure, he cannot stop grinning. He tries experimenting with the watch, and successfully manages to go a few minutes into the future, and even freeze time. Mani meets Sathya in the most iconic way. He goes back in time to relive the moment, but things don't play out as they did the first time. Meanwhile, Athraya has managed to restore Sechuraman's laboratory to the same way it was before they destroyed it 26 years ago. They try recreating it, but even after several tries, the watch ends up blowing apart. Mani helps Sathya restore her broken watch. She meets Satyabhama, and coincidentally, they share the same name. Mani uses his quirky attributes to make Sathya fall in love with him. One morning, Saravanan, Mani's neighbor, comes rushing into Mani's room with the newspaper. An ad displaying the Phoenix Time Machine states that whoever gives them the watch will be rewarded with 5 crore rupee. The picture shows the same watch Mani discovered in the box, and now uses to his liking. Mani is amazed at the reward amount. His friend suggests making a copy of the watch. Mani suspects the advertisers know what powers the watch holds. Taking the reference from the original, he makes an exact replica of the watch. He has many questions about these people, so after finishing the work, he, along with his friend, go to deliver it to the given address. Manny's curiosity takes the best of him, and he sneaks in to find the answers he's looking for. He snoops into Athraya's office, but before he can get out, Athraya and Mithrin walk in. Athraya identifies Manny's watch to be a copy of the original and asserts that whoever has made that watch has the original. Manny hears everything as he is hiding under the table. They catch hold of Saravanan and realize he is not Manny. After an intense fight, Manny manages to reach the conference hall, where Mithrin has beaten his friend Black and Blue. Mithrin is shocked to see Manny, who resembles Sechuraman. They fight, but Athraya intervenes and shoots Manny. Just before Manny falls off the building after being shot several times, Athraya confesses to eliminating his parents. He even severs Manny's arm, which has the watch, and lets Manny fall off. The watch can only be charged if a current is passed through the person's body who is wearing the watch. Once the watch is charged, Athraya dials the watch to go 26 years back, and asks Mithrin to join him as a reward for his loyalty. But he doesn't know that the watch is only capable of going back 24 hours. Athraya is confident that Manny can modify the watch to go back for more than just 24 hours, because he is the son of the maker of the machine. Since they have a second take on the day, and Manny doesn't know about them yet, Athraya asks Mithrin to get the watch back on Manny's wrist. Manny gets up in the morning and finds the watch on his right arm, not on the left where he originally placed it, raising suspicion. He decides to travel back to last night, when he thought he heard something fall. And he was right. He sees a man's shadow in his room, and decides to follow him. He follows Mithrin to Athraya's house, and sees a man who looks exactly like him sitting in a wheelchair. Athraya pretends to be Sechuraman and puts up a farce. This is all part of Athraya's genius, in using Manny for his ultimate plan. He plans to manipulate Manny to his advantage, by telling him how his evil uncle Athraya eliminated Manny's mom. He is confident Manny will fall for his travesty. The next morning, Satyabhama sees Manny crying. He asks Satyabhama for the truth. Satyabhama narrates how he changed her entire life. She had a joint family. Her father had sent her to the city for further studies. One day she was called back to her home, because her father had fixed her alliance in an affluent family. She was traveling on the train, when a severely injured Sechuraman approached her and gave Manny to her. He pleaded to save his son, and after saying that, he went away, and she never saw him again. Once she reached the station, she had to face the brunt and mockery of her relatives because she was carrying a baby. Nobody believed her story, so she left her house and family, and dedicated her life to looking after Manny. Manny and Satyabhama cry as she claims she is his mother, no matter what others say. Manny says she will always be his mom and dad, as she took the role of both for him. Manny takes Satyabhama to her village, to make things right. The family rejoices after meeting their long-lost daughter. Manny finds out that Sathya is Satyabhama's brother's daughter, and she is betrothed to him. Athraya, disguised as Sechuraman, comes to Manny's village, and shares his tragic story, fooling all the family members. He tells them it was his wish to meet his son again, and now that he has met him, he can rest in peace. He further gains trust by funding the construction of a school building. But while signing the check, he accidentally signs his real name. Sathya realizes his true identity and runs to tell Manny, but to stop her, Athraya pushes himself off the stairs. Manny comes to his aid and uses his watch to travel back. Athraya touches it to retain the memory and, this time, signs Sechuraman's name on the check. Athraya executes the next step and makes Manny believe that Sechuraman is on his deathbed and counting days. They also feed Manny the idea that he can make a modified watch to go back 26 years, so that his father can live the years he spent in a coma. As expected, Manny comes up with the idea of introducing a date feature and modifies the watch to be able to jump to any point in time. Manny gives the modified watch to his dad and asks if he remembers the date when he wants to go back. But to his shock, Athraya reveals his true identity and says he could never forget the wretched day of the 13th of January 1990. He even reveals the time and the fact that he eliminated his parents. But Manny is a watch mechanic, as he calls himself, and 2 steps ahead of them. He found out his dad had 6 fingers from the photograph he had taken from Athraya's house, which helped him catch Athraya's bluff. He had already seen what would happen that day, so he built a copy to fool Athraya. He played along to get a precise date and time to travel back and make things right. Manny sets the date and time, but Mithrin flings Athraya towards Manny, who touches the watch in the nick of time, and they both travel back in time. It is 1990 again. Athraya is happy to have his youth and legs back. This time, he sends his men to the precise location from where Sechuraman ran last time. Sechuraman realizes his son has come from the future because of the modified watch. He deduces that something went wrong, because of which their son had to travel back 26 years to warn them. and his deductions prove correct when Athreya comes and narrates that he has come back for the watch. The watch's battery is flat, and because Athreya has cut all power lines, Secheremen cannot charge the watch. Athreya promises he won't hurt his family and asks Secheremen to hand him the watch. Secheremen comes out of hiding and gives him the watch, but Athreya is a villain and starts beating his brother to get him to reveal where he has hidden his son. Athreya doesn't want to take any risks and plans to eliminate Mani and Secheremen so that no new watch can be made. But things play out in Secheremen's favor, and he is able to retrieve the watch, while Mithrin passes away, trying to save Athreya. Secheremen hides Priya and Mani in a shed, and goes to find a way to charge the watch with a power cable outlet. But his watchman proves to be a traitor, who hits him with a stick, and calls Athreya to let him know his brother is there. As Athreya shoots at Secheremen, Secheremen uses his watch to freeze time and change positions with his brother. Now Athreya lies on the receiving end of the bullet. It is revealed that when he fell on the ground from the impact of the blow, he found a live wire, and he was able to charge the watch. When the time unfreezes, the bullet pierces Athreya, eliminating him instantly. Secheremen rushes Priya and Mani to safety. Priya asks him to throw away the watch, because they have been through a lot because of it. Secheremen complies, and hurls away the watch. The eagle who has facilitated him unknowingly flies over it. They board the same train that Satyabhama is traveling. Mani holds her scarf and smiles at her, which makes her invite Secheremen and Priya to sit with her. They strike up a conversation, and Secheremen reveals he is a science teacher. Satyabhama says her father has opened a school in their village, and they are in need of a science teacher. She asks if he is willing to teach the children there. Secheremen gladly agrees, and they soon start a new life in the village. The movie ends with young Mani talking to little Sathya, trying to impress her with his jibber-jabber.